How's life?
Life is great. I moved house 3 months ago and it's been a really fun adventure. My shows are going really well.
They say that's the most.
One of the most stressful things you'll ever do in your life is move house.
Apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
I just haven't been to fucking Afghanistan.
Dick, relax.
Alright,
Well, moving houses is the most.
Or I have to hang out with spags all day.
It was a bit stressful. Like I got back from touring in America and the same day that I landed, we picked up Lenny, the dog, or a puppy, and moved house that same day. Like got the keys and signed the lease. So it was like a pretty intense 48 hours, but it was really fun. It's definitely been like a test on our relationship, but we've come through the end.
Scotty boy.
Yeah.
And
Still hanging in there?
You're based out of Sydney.
Yes.
Cool. So what's happening on the music front? I'm obviously across it, but for everyone listening, watching.
Well, I've had a little bit of a lull in my music releases in the past 12 months, but I'm really excited because I've been working heaps on new music. And we got new music coming out, so hopefully first week of August we'll have a new record.
What are you thinking of doing first?
What record? Is one
Can you give us a
featuring...
sneak peek?
Can I?
Can you sing it?
It's featuring Luciana.
Yep.
And I really love it. I've listened to it 100 times and I still love it. Have you heard it?
Which is a good sign.
Jay doesn't. He doesn't show us anything.
What
He
the
sits
heck?
there.
Dumbledore
He
is
sits there with his headphones on, and this is as much as you get out of him.
Fuck them.
I'll show you guys afterward.
Yeah.
But then I've got plenty of music coming out after that as well, which is really exciting. So kind of my aim for the next 12 months is to really develop that side of what I'm doing. Lots more music.
I guess big people sort of push out more music and really get people aware of what the other side that you can bring.
Yeah, 100%.
Just sort of, 'cause your brand's obviously so strong.
Yeah, because I think what happened with my brand, which has been something interesting to look at and think about, and actually a random patron gave me this insight, which is funny the way that you kind of come to acknowledge stuff. So I was a DJ for so long, just a DJ, and then Instagram came along, and all of a sudden I built a massive following, and I was an Instagrammer before I was a DJ.
Yeah.
But I'm still doing 2 shows every week at least, so I'm still very much a DJ. But because the shows are very location specific, you can only see those shows if you're there.
Yeah.
So people they'll click through a few stories, oh yeah, there's a club thing, cool, whatever. But then all the other content is Monday to Friday, hanging out with the dog.
Which I guess is different from you compared to somebody else who's basically just puts all their DJ stuff on. So you go on their site and they're DJ.
And it's just DJ stuff.
And they've been doing it all week, really.
They see everything behind the scenes. They see everything that's happening basically.
Totally.
Which is great.
People are obviously interested in you as a person, whereas I think a lot of the other DJs, they probably don't open up enough about themselves during the week because they probably think the people don't care, because they're how everyone's here for my music and me playing gigs.
The majority of the time people want to see that.
Yeah.
People prefer to see that, to be honest, because if they're going to listen to your music, they're going to go listen to it.
Yeah.
But they really want to know.
Everyone sees the front. They want to know what's happening behind that front,
100%.
and just to be to have that feeling that they know them or something like that, the behind the snes cool shit that happens.
And that's what I'm really looking forward to showing people in this new YouTube stuff that I'm doing. Is I was thinking what's my point of difference between me and every other girl on Instagram / model / influencer.
Because there's quite a few of them.
Oh really? Really? One is being born every second.
In Australia only.
But I think it's the fact that I have access to these shows and festivals and traveling bits and pieces every single week that no one does, no one else has access to. And sure, a lot of the time it might be the same or it might be a bit boring, but there's a lot of funny stuff, there's a lot of interesting stuff, there's testing stuff. So I think that's going to be something that I'm going to try and capitalize on, is showing people the behind the scenes of the DJing stuff.
Yeah.
So whether it's how I'm prepping my sets, going into the studio for a day, going and traveling to Europe and what happens here, blah blah blah. So I think that'll be pretty fun.
Cool.
That's the plan anyway for that.
A lot of DJs start with the whole, DJ then episode progressing to music. That's their sort of general process. What advice would you give to people who start DJing but necessarily them making music is sort of down the track sort of thing? Like your brand is very, very strong. It's like, how can they build a brand where it's like, okay, you know what, I don't need to have 5 platinum records to play at a festival. I don't need to have 3 platinum records to play at a festival. My brand itself is so strong that people want to come to see me DJ. What advice do you give to people like that? Because that's a question we actually get quite a bit.
Yeah,
so they're like, hey,
how do I make it?
How do I make it if
I can't produce?
I can't produce. I'm learning. It's going to take me. It's going to take me a while to produce. It's going to take me a while. I need to learn how to produce. How can I get my foot in the field, you know, without having any production experience?
Yeah, totally.
Just to get my foot moving forward, then I'll learn.
It's a great question. Because these days it's so difficult for DJs to break through without being like a producer. But like, let's be realistic, behind every massive DJ is a production team of 10 people. But like, if you're just starting up, you can't afford that. Or you can't, you know, you don't have the resources to even like find those types of people who can help you.
Ableton or...
Totally, Ableton is $1,000
you can't get cracked versions as much anymore. It's not that easy.
Yeah, so I think that comes back down to what we were talking about, honestly, not that long ago, opening up and talking about other things, like showing sides of yourself. Like the DJs are often afraid to talk about because they think it should be only about the music. But for me, I can only talk from my experience, was as soon as I started to become more personable and more relatable and potentially more honest with my audience, that's when things like totally started to change. So like, yeah, just opening up and talking about other things apart from music, that opens up a whole new world of, you know, opportunity to collaborate with brands and to collaborate with other influencers, or, you know, to go and do a shoot for someone, and like through those connections, it just like your brand can like blossom and grow into so many different things. And I think another thing to mention is these days, no one is just in one lane. Some people are, and people do really like that, like, you know, the Instagram account for cute golden retriever puppies or pink everything.
And they do well with that, you know.
And that does really well.
That's the niche.
Yeah, sure. But like, I think the more stuff you can do and be across and talk about, as long as it's not too overwhelming, the more people that you're going to get in. But also another thing, back to the branding, I think visually it needs to be really striking.
Yeah.
So like back when my hair was like crazy colours, like that was just such an important thing, and I didn't even realise that at the time. I just was doing it for fun. But
it was so different from what everything was.
No one else was doing it, and then next minute every single female DJ has blue hair. You know. But yeah, so I think you need to be yourself, open up to your social media platforms in order to foster new opportunity. Focus on your visual branding if you're not going to concentrate on the music, and look out for collaborations. So whether it's with other DJs or whether it's with brands or models or photographers or whatever it might be, like there's so much stuff you can do. Like the other day I went and shot for a shoe campaign for Windsor Smith. I would have never thought I would have done that, but now I'm all over their storefronts. Like, how cool is that?
What? How much time do you? I think some people would say they'd see someone on Instagram following your base and they'd look at it and be like, this person posts a photo and they get X amount of likes, but they don't see how much work you put behind, whether it's building content or you know, working on different projects or working on your brand yourself. What's like a typical day for Tigerlily? Like,
so many hours. Like,
because obviously you do podcasts as well and put all that together.
I would say I probably work like 7 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's just whether it's in the studio, probably one day a week.
It's a full-time job, and that's like 7 days a week, mind you.
Yeah, totally. Or it's on my laptop doing emails, it's on Skype, like organising collaborations, it's getting my photographer over to get content for Instagram. Like, it's literally constant. So it's pretty full on, and like I could keep working every single night if I had the energy to. Like, you can just keep going.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that for health issues.
I suppose what a lot of people want to know, I mean, you're an international, super successful touring DJ, you've gone and done around the world for a good part of 4 or 5 years now. I suppose, what does your structure look like behind the scenes, you know, like, obviously it's not just you doing this, like how many people around the world help you and what do they do?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Good question. So I think first and foremost behind me are my agents.
Yeah.
So I've got you guys in Australia, Lucky, and then in America I have Paradigm, and I've been with them for the best part of like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah. And how did you get signed to them? Are they a similar structure to Lucky, or you know what I mean?
Similar structure to Lucky. Got signed with them going over to America one year when I was trying to get like my visa stuff done.
Yeah.
Met up with like a modelling agency over there and a DJ agency, and like kind of just had like an interview, and they were keen.
They take care of Above and Beyond, Tiesto.
Everyone.
It used to be AM only?
It used to be
AM only, and then
yeah.
Paradigm acquired
Yeah.
AM only, yeah.
They've got literally
Mad
like
agency.
200 acts,
Yeah.
500 acts.
Yeah.
You look through the act scroll
On
and
the
it's
side.
literally every act.
Yeah.
It's mental. But they're really great. Then I have a company called Super Modified in Asia,
Yep.
and a company called Virgo in Europe. And I think what I figured out is the most important thing is to have agents that first and foremost believe in you, because if they don't believe in you, then they're not gonna like work
Push you,
hard
right?
to push you. And they also have to be on the same page to push what you want, because it's really easy for every agent to be like, oh yeah, I want to have you whenever. But like realistically, if you don't want to be over in America for 6 months of the year, like that agent has to understand that, and they have to be like, yeah, cool, I'll work within these terms.
Yeah.
And so it's really great because everyone that I work with really understands what I want and need, which is quite specific, I think, because I'm not like other DJs who are happy to drop everything and go whenever.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got obviously different things going on.
Yeah,
You
totally.
were saying, you know, have agents that basically believe in you.
Yeah.
We always get this question of like how do young artists will always say, how do I get join Lucky? How do I join this? And I'm sure there's people that would be looking at Super Modified or looking at AM only, similar shit. So from an artist perspective, would you tell them, you know, wait for agents that are really excited about you rather than you trying to approach them?
Yeah.
Because that's sort of the way I usually tell people. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, just keep doing your stuff and then
Yeah.
And
we'll
you'll
find
get
you.
noticed. Yeah.
Yeah, because
You
it's
don't
not a
need-
job
Because if
application
you
for
put,
Maccas.
if you force the envelope, then it's, you know, it's just.
Yeah.
100%.
Wait till someone's 100% keen and then looking at you
Yeah.
as an artist going,
Yeah.
fuck, I love you, I want to work with
Yeah.
you, like, let's make this happen.
You honestly don't need an agent and you don't need management until you find someone that's like willing to work for you.
Yeah.
Like 100,000%. And like I manage myself now, and after leaving management like about 2 years ago, I've always been on the lookout for someone that might be a good manager,
Yeah.
but I haven't found anyone that I'm like, you are gonna like be the sickest manager ever and bring something to the party that is
That
just
you don't have.
unattainable right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Because I've got such a great team.
Which is good because, and to be honest, I think that's the best advice for anyone because a lot of
Yeah.
people just go, I need a manager because it's just what people
What
have.
everyone
Yeah,
does.
what everyone else
It's going to do everything for me.
Yeah.
And then they go and
That's
sign
what-
some 4-year deal and it just fucks them.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
just-
I always say it to everyone, you don't need a manager.
Oh,
Like,
who's doing 4-year management deals? What do you name them?
They will remain nameless.
But yeah, I think the best thing for young artists is to not even bother wasting your time looking for managers and agents. Like if it happens and someone really wants to work with you, they'll approach you. Let them take you out for dinner and get them to prove to you why they're going to work with you and why they're going to do a really good job for you. You shouldn't be like, hey, please be my agent. Like, no, they need to want to work with your brand. So I don't think people, like kids, should waste their time like doing that. You can do it all yourself.
Yeah.
I did it myself for years.
Yeah.
Had my spreadsheets, my
Yeah.
calendars, text in Soho, text in whoever else. Like it's not that difficult, realistically, as long as you're organised. But I suppose people are just lazy. But back to the question. So there's the agents, and then obviously I manage myself now, which is really great. I've just hired a new girl who's coming on as like my personal creative assistant.
Yep.
And then I have also a guy who helps me with my podcast. And then I also have someone who works on my productions with me.
Yep.
And they're all based in Sydney. Then I also have a team at my label, which is Universal Australia, and there's probably however many people in that team, quite a few people in that team. And then I think some of the most important people behind the business are the lawyers, the accountants, the financial advisors, looking after like all the boring, hectic stuff.
And of course, your parents.
Yeah, my parents.
Your dad.
My dad does all my bookkeeping, he's such a legend. And my mum just looks over his shoulder being like, what's she spending money on now? Oh my gosh.
You obviously were part of Your Shop.
Yeah.
Like, I think Your Shop gets a lot of criticism. People
It does.
sort of
Oh my gosh.
talk about it as if it's not good for the industry or anything like that, but it's a platform where people can be seen by the right people.
It may
So
not
it's-
usually be.
Yeah,
be
so it's
seen,
like,
man.
how instrumental was that in sort of maybe helping you or giving you motivation or some sort of extent? Because I think people forget that you were from Your Shop.
Yeah, I
Years
forget
ago.
too sometimes.
Yeah.
I think Your Shop's a great thing. I can see how people would think it was a bad thing, but I think the only people that think it's a bad thing for the industry are people who are intimidated by young talent. And young talent is great because it keeps
Yeah.
things fresh and competitive. I think for me, it was really instrumental in getting me in front of the right people. Before my Your Shot competition, I'd done like a couple of gigs, like at some pubs, and there used to be this old club in Sydney called Moulin Rouge. I'd done one show there, like 8 till 9 or 9 till 10 or whatever it might have been.
Open to 10.
Yeah, right. It was just the guys cleaning. And I got paid in 5 drink tokens, literally. Anyway, so Your Shot was super instrumental for getting me in front of the right people, because after like I came second in Your Shot, I got a residency at Soho
Yeah.
for my prize. And that was great because it meant once a week for the
Yeah.
next 12 months I was playing in
You
one
played
of
it.
like the hottest clubs in Sydney
Sydney.
at the time.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know it's for 12 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, and so that was so essential, and it was such a key stepping stone for me building relationships and meeting other DJs and talking to promoters and getting seen by the right people and then being able to support internationals, and you know, I think it was really, really important. And so I think if you use a competition like Your Shot in the right way, you can use it, and it can be a massive
Yeah, I mean,
advantage.
we're massive supporters of it. We supported it for.
Yeah.
for
Isn't the
45
winner get a solid ultra?
Yeah,
This
yeah,
year?
yeah.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
I also I talked to Mark and it used to be Steve quite a bit, and it used to be Sam actually, and we always give them a go at club nights and stuff. We're like, yeah, come on down and see how they go. And
Yeah.
a lot of them, going off to bigger and better things, and I think it's a great.
Well,
great
yourself
concept.
did Your Shot, Brooklyn did Your Shot,
Jamie, J-Trick?
Yeah.
Jatrix done Your Shot, who else? That's off the top of my head, but there's definitely plenty more. 15 grams, Brendan, Your Shot.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people, and people tend to forget quickly that Your Shot does help.
Yeah, no, I
Which is
think
awesome.
it's a great thing. I think it's getting really competitive these days. Like I did interviews one year, and it was so hard to pick like the kids
Yeah.
who you were gonna put
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like everyone
I
was
ended up
so
just getting
keen.
blind and just tipping everyone. You've got 40 people too there, I don't get.
Oh my gosh! Like when I did,
Cover.
everyone's a winner.
Come on down.
When I did it, to like the way that they allocated the set times was to do with like whoever had the most support.
Yeah.
And so I sold like 100 tickets, right?
Ah.
And I thought that was lit. I was like, I have just rallied all my friends. It's great. And then, like, I was talking to kids last year. They're selling like 250 tickets
Wow.
each kid.
Wow.
Like, people are going like above and beyond, and there's merch, and there's things
Yes.
that they're throwing out, and there's branded T-shirts,
Yeah.
and like, it's become like a full-blown
Yeah.
thing. Like, people
It's
get
serious.
really invested, and it's interesting to see like the way that people put so much time and effort into it, and kids are really taking it seriously, which is good because it is like a really cool platform that if you use it right, you can, it can really
Build a career.
leverage your career. Yeah, totally.
So how important would you, so for people that aren't obviously going to go down the Your Shot path, how important is talking to promoters, when you get booked and when you get these things, developing relationships with promoters and with venue
Oh my
owners and
gosh,
managers and
it's
stuff?
everything.
Because a lot of people sort of come in, and you always see a few people come in, play their set, they leave,
Yeah.
and I reckon they pay, like it costs them later on down the track.
Yeah.
So from your experience, what do you think?
100%, it's so important. I used to hang around and just drink and party
I
with
remember that.
everyone. And like that was great because like it meant that you could get to know everyone and you could talk to everyone. And like at every show, whether you're in Melbourne or Brisbane or Bundaberg, like wherever you are, like you go out for dinner with the promoter, you chat to them, you go have some drinks in the club, and like you build a relationship so they want to get you back. I would say these days I'm a little bit worse at doing that because I've become like old and boring, but like I still do try and make an effort in regards to either going out for dinner with a promoter or even just having like a really good conversation with them before and after, or even just in the car, like on the way to the venue or whatever. And I think it's really important that you do build those relationships, especially if you haven't got an agent who's able to book the shows for you. If you haven't got an agent that's working for you, being like, this act is good, you need to be your own agent in like making that personal
relationships
connection.
are everything, really.
Yeah.
Especially in the industry, it's if you've got bad relationships, you burn bridges everywhere.
I think it's just genuinely being a good person. Like, it's like
Don't be a shit cunt.
Don't be a dick, seriously.
Like we always remember the shit act, or not the shit act, but the people that
The person's rude.
people we work with are rude. You remember them straight away, and when they say their names, like that person was a dick.
Yeah.
If it's a nice person, like they're awesome, they're a
That's
legend.
what everyone says about Jay.
Yeah.
Dickhead.
Fuck them.
No, I reckon that's 100% right. You just have to be nice. And the industry is so small that everyone knows everyone, and as soon as you start being rude or being a dick or I don't know, getting super trolleyed and not being able to finish your sets.
Well, yeah, that's a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
When you get that maggot
Jumping off early.
that you can't play.
I did that once.
Where?
Canberra.
Why?
I don't know if you were my agent then. I got so trolleyed with Ember.
No, maybe not. I don't think so.
Yeah, I couldn't finish my set.
At Academy.
Not even. It was at a uni party.
They would have all been blind anyway.
Yeah, they were, but that's just like holy moly. That was just
Next level.
Not good. Would not suggest.
So what TV shows are you watching? Do you watch any TV shows?
No.
Nothing?
We're going to wrap this up in a couple of minutes, FYI.
Okay. What TV shows am I
There we go.
watching? I like to watch the weird ones on Netflix, like The Undateables,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I saw
is
that.
weird.
like
weird.
Botched, or like weird things like that. I don't really watch TV.
What
First
are
dates.
First dates.
I like first dates.
What are some good artists that you're watching at the moment coming out of Australia or
Oh my
around the
gosh,
world or anywhere?
there is this sick ass chick at the moment called Coda Banks, and she's just
I've heard.
dropped a
I've heard her.
mixtape. And I heard like the first play on Triple J the other day of one of her songs, and I was just like, what the fuck? Shazamming while driving, being like, who is this chick? And then I straight away followed her and DM'd her, being like, this is the best mix, like, or album or whatever you want to call it. It's like mixtape in rap terms, I suppose, that I've heard in ages. So she is gonna be, amazing. And then there's another really cool chick called Ayla. I think that's how you say it.
Hello.
It's not. I don't think it's spelled like your
Oh,
Ayla.
okay, good.
Ayla, maybe, I don't know. And she's from America, and she's also like a singer rapper, and she's doing some really cool stuff at the moment. All about the chicks.
Yeah.
Same.
Yep. Just touching on that. Our industry is very, say, male dominated to an extent. Have you found it being hard as a sort of the biggest female DJ in the country, breaking through and sort of changing that perception to an extent of it being such a male dominated industry?
Yeah, it sucks because it's such a boys' club, and all the boys just want to hang out together. And if like you're not a boys' boy, then like you don't really get included in things.
Is that still currently in this current day and age?
Yeah, fully, 100%.
I mean, we've got a heap of female acts in our
Right.
roster. I would almost say it's like we could sign a lot more female acts and work with a lot more female acts.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are coming through and progressing and pushing forward and,
Yeah.
and looking favourable and actually working for it, whereas a lot of the guys just want to compete with each other.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So
I think that
yeah.
you just have to like prove yourself 10 times harder when you're a girl.
Yeah.
And it's really disappointing. And like, I think when people often come up to me and be like, oh wow, I just watched your set. Like, you actually can mix really good. I'm like, fucking oath. I've been doing it for like 7 years, you dickhead. Like, what do you think this is?
It's a
But, like,
backhanded compliment.
yeah, right? But the fact that they come like so surprised, it's like quite insulting. And I think it is a really difficult situation because the guys in the industry are really judgmental of females, especially in the way that we present ourselves. And I can tell the guys get pissed off that if a girl looks pretty and looks good, then she's going to get a lot of attention and followers coming to her shows just because of her looks. And so I think that they think it's a really easy way out or an easy door, but it's not, because once you've got people there, you've got to work twice as hard to convince them that you're actually a really good artist.
True.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's
Work with
quite
what you got.
difficult. Yeah, you do. You have to work with what you got. Yeah. But it's exciting because there's lots of girls like coming into the industry now. Lots of girls message me all the time being like, you know, I'm just starting off as a DJ, I want to do this, I want to do that, whereas I really, you know, didn't hear that anywhere near as much before. So it is, it is pretty cool.
It's awesome. Cool.
Cool. We'll wrap it up.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank
Like
you.
and subscribe.